Let go of the weight that no longer serves you. You've carried so much through life, memories, responsibilities, even pain. But at 70, the heaviest burdens aren't in your arms. They're in your closets, your drawers, and often, your heart. Dr. Thomas Reeve, a retired geriatric specialist with over 4 decades of guiding men through the later stages of life, often says this: when a man turns 70, he doesn't need more things. He needs more peace. He's seen it time and again. The peace that comes not from doing more, but from letting go. At this stage, many men find themselves surrounded by clutter, old furniture, faded photos, paperwork from decades ago. Not because they need it, but because no one ever told them it was okay to release it. You might walk into a room in your house and feel unsettled. Not because it's messy, but because it's full of history that no longer holds meaning. And yet, you don't want to. Be careless. These things once mattered. But here's the truth Dr. Reeve teaches. Letting go is not rejection. It's reverence. It means you've honored what served you, and now you're choosing space for what matters next. And that shift? It can change how you feel in your home, your heart, and your head. Insight number 1. Physical clutter is emotional weight. Let's start with a story. One of Dr. Reeve's patients, a former Navy mechanic named Alan, had an attic filled with boxes he hadn't opened in 25 years, tools he never used, gifts from people long gone, a rusted typewriter he swore he'd fix someday. When Alan's wife passed, the house felt like a museum of the past, not a place to live, but to remember. Dr. Reeve challenged him. What if you kept only what made your heart feel full, and let go of everything else? So Alan spent one weekend, just one, going through one corner of the attic. And what he told Dr. Reeve afterward was simple, but powerful. It felt like I could breathe again. Psychologists call this the clutter-stress connection. Studies show that environments filled with unneeded objects can increase cortisol, the stress hormone. And in older adults, this kind of low-grade stress contributes to fatigue, mental fog, even mild depression. It's not just about neatness, it's about peace. When your space reflects your present, not just your past, your mind follows. Letting go isn't erasing who you were. It's making room for who you're still becoming. How to begin? Small, meaningful steps. You don't need to empty the garage in a day. Start with one drawer, one shelf, one stack of papers. Ask yourself, does this still serve me? Would someone else find joy or use in this? Do I keep this out of love or out of guilt? Dr. Reeve often recommends this rule. Keep what makes you smile, donate what might bless someone else, and let the rest go with gratitude, because someone out there could use that old toolbox, that extra coat, even that rocking chair. What feels like clutter to you might be comfort to someone starting fresh. Visualize this. Imagine walking into your home and feeling the air move more freely, seeing only what you love, what serves you, and what supports your joy today, not just what reminded you of yesterday. That lightness isn't just physical. It's emotional, it's spiritual, and it starts with a single choice to release. But the next burden? It doesn't sit on your shelf. It hides in your relationships. And it's often the hardest one for men to face, until it's already drained too much life away. If this first insight speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I read everyone, and your voice matters here. Let go of toxic relationships. Your peace is worth protecting. You've survived the storms of life, but sometimes the real damage doesn't come from tragedy. It comes from people you've known for years, who drain you, diminish you, or make you feel like you're not enough. Dr. Thomas Reeve, who has counseled thousands of aging men, often begins his sessions with a question that stops most men in their tracks. Who in your life adds to your peace, and who quietly subtracts from it? He explains that by 70, your time, energy, and emotional space are more valuable than ever. You've earned the right to choose who gets close to your heart. You may know the feeling. A phone call that leaves you tense. A family visit where you smile politely but feel invisible. Or an old friend who only calls when they need something, never when you do. And maybe, deep down, you've told yourself, that's just how they are. I'll put up with it. But here's the hard truth Dr. Reeve teaches. Just because someone's been in your life for years doesn't mean they belong in your life forever. The emotional weight of toxic relationships can be heavier than any physical burden. It drains your joy, saps your strength, and silences your self-worth. Insight, Chapter 2. Emotional clarity begins with boundaries. Let me tell you about Howard, one of Dr. Reeve's longtime patients. Howard had 3 adult children. 2 were loving and involved. The third? Constantly critical. Every call was full of judgment. You should be doing this. Why haven't you done that? She never asked how he felt, only what he could give. Howard kept silent, until one day he broke down in Dr. Reeve's office and said, "I feel like I'm failing her no matter what I do." Dr. Reeve gave him one simple, powerful truth. Love is not measured by how much abuse you endure. Sometimes, love is expressed through boundaries. Howard didn't cut his daughter out, but he stopped answering calls when he was tired. He responded to criticism with silence, and for the first time in years, he began to feel like himself again. Studies show that chronic exposure to emotionally draining relationships increases inflammation, heart risk, and even cognitive decline in older adults. Toxic relationships activate the body's stress response. A flood of cortisol and adrenaline, even when the danger is emotional, not physical. Over time, this constant stress can wear down your immune system and shorten your lifespan. You don't owe your peace to anyone, not out of guilt, not out of obligation. The people you allow close should uplift you, respect your journey, and make you feel safe in your own skin. How to begin? Boundaries. Over breakups. Letting go doesn't always mean cutting someone out. Sometimes, it just means limiting how much space they take in your mind and heart. Here's what Dr. Reeve recommends. Use silence as a filter. You don't have to reply to every message. Choose when and how you engage. Your time is sacred. Say what you need. Even a simple, "I'm not in the space for this conversation," can protect your peace. And if someone refuses to respect your boundaries, that tells you everything you need to know. Letting go of toxic connections isn't an act of cruelty. It's an act of deep self-respect. You're not punishing them. You're protecting you. Visualize this. Imagine a circle drawn around your heart, a sacred space. Only those who bring warmth, kindness, or understanding are allowed in. Everyone else, they stay outside. Not in anger, but in quiet, loving clarity. But there's one thing even more dangerous than toxic people, and that's the toxic voice you speak to yourself. The next insight is about the hidden enemy living inside many older men: guilt, regret, and self-blame, and how to finally set yourself free from it. If this insight resonates, type, "I protect my peace," in the comments. If you're still struggling with a relationship that drains you, type, "Still healing." We read every comment, and you're not alone. Let go of self-blame and regret. The quietest prison of all, you've forgiven others. You've weathered decades of change. But there's one person you might still be punishing. The man in the mirror. Dr. Thomas Reeve, with over 40 years of guiding aging men through the emotional terrain of late life, once said, "The most dangerous thing a man carries into old age isn't illness or loneliness, it's regret. And most often, it's unspoken." He's seen it countless times. Strong men weighed down by what could have been, what should have been, or what they didn't do. Maybe you think about the marriage that didn't last, the business that failed, the time you weren't there when someone needed you. Maybe you hear yourself say, "I should have tried harder. If only I'd done things differently. I don't deserve peace after all I messed up." You carry those thoughts like quiet luggage, heavy, invisible, but always there. But here's what Dr. Reeve teaches. You are not the worst thing you've ever done, and you are not the life you didn't live. Letting go of regret doesn't erase the past. It frees you to live fully in the present, the only place peace ever exists. Insight, Shur 3. Regret is a shadow, not a sentence. Let's talk about Roy, a widowed grandfather Dr. Reeve worked with for years. Roy lost his son in an accident 3 decades ago. He never forgave himself. He wasn't there the day it happened. He thought, if I'd just called, if I'd been more involved. For 30 years, Roy smiled for photos, played with his grandkids, volunteered at the local church, but inside he felt undeserving of happiness. He told Dr. Reeve, "I don't think I've earned the right to feel joy." Dr. Reeve looked him in the eyes and said, "Your son would never ask you to carry grief like a punishment. Grief honors love, but blame kills it." Roy broke down. For the first time in decades, he said goodbye not to his son, but to the shame. Neuroscience tells us that chronic guilt and rumination activate the same parts of the brain associated with physical pain. In fact, prolonged self-blame can weaken the immune system, increase the risk of depression, contribute to sleep disorders and cardiovascular strain. In other words, regret doesn't just hurt emotionally. It slowly degrades your health. You don't owe anyone your suffering. You don't need to earn forgiveness through punishment. You are still here, breathing, growing, loving. That means you're worthy of grace. How to begin? Rewriting the inner script. Letting go of regret begins by changing the voice inside, your mind. Dr. Reeve recommends asking yourself 3 questions. If someone I loved made this mistake, would I speak to them the way I speak to myself? What lesson did I gain from that pain? How can I honor the past without living in it? You may want to try this simple practice. Write a letter of forgiveness to yourself. Don't worry about making it perfect. Just write what you wish someone had said to you years ago. Then read it aloud. Not as a punishment, but as a release, or better yet, speak it out loud on a quiet walk. Let your voice carry those words into the wind, and let the silence answer you with kindness. Visualize this picture this. You're standing at the edge of a calm lake. You hold a stone, the weight of your deepest regret. You whisper your sorrow into it, and then you throw it. The ripples fade. The weight is gone. The water accepts it. And you remain lighter, freer, forgiven. That is what this life still offers you. But what's the use of peace in your heart if your body can't enjoy it? The next part will explore the daily habits that quietly steal your health, and the simple changes that could give you energy, strength, and vitality in ways you haven't felt in years. If you've ever struggled to forgive yourself, type "still learning" in the comments. If you've found peace after regret, type "found peace." Your story might give someone else hope. Let go of unhealthy habits. So your body can carry you with strength. You only get one body, and by the time you reach 70, it's carried you through every love, every battle, and every quiet morning coffee. But what happens when that same body starts to feel like it's giving up? Dr. Thomas Reeve, a retired geriatric specialist, has walked alongside aging men for more than 40 years. He says, "Your body isn't failing you. It's waiting for you to notice it again." Many men think decline is inevitable, but often it's not aging itself. It's the habits we've ignored for too long. You might feel it already. Waking up tired, stiff joints, trouble sleeping, less appetite, or too much of the wrong kind of appetite. You may have convinced yourself it's just normal aging. But as Dr. Reeve reminds us, there's a difference between growing old and giving up. Sometimes it's not disease that's stealing your energy. It's slow, silent neglect. Skipping meals, sitting too long, sleeping poorly, drinking too much, thinking, it's too late to change. But it's not. Here's what most men don't realize. The human body remains adaptive, even into your 80s and beyond. Dr. Reeve has seen patients reverse early signs of diabetes, lower blood pressure, improve joint function, and restore energy, all by making small, consistent changes. Insight number 4. Every habit sends a message to your body. Good or bad, let's talk about George. George was 74 when he came to Dr. Reeve, hunched over on multiple medications and constantly exhausted. His days were quiet. Too quiet. No breakfast, mostly coffee, frozen meals. He hadn't exercised in over a decade. "I'm just waiting it out," he joked. But it wasn't a joke. Dr. Reeve worked with him on one thing. Just one. A short daily morning walk. 2 weeks in, George had more appetite. 3 weeks in, he was sleeping better. By 3 months, he'd lost 8 pounds, laughed more, and told Dr. Reeve, "I don't feel old. I feel lighter." That's the power of one shift. Just one. Research from gerontology studies shows that even after age 70, your body can build new muscle with light strength training, improve balance with gentle movement, like Tai Chi or yoga, lower inflammation and blood pressure. With improved diet, boost mood and memory through cardiovascular activity. Your cells are still listening to you. The question is, what are you telling them each day? Your body is not your enemy. It's your partner. It remembers how you treat it, and when you love it, even in small ways, it responds. How to begin? Small, sustainable shifts. Dr. Reeve offers this 3A formula. Awareness. What are your current habits? Write them down for 2 days. Adjust one thing, just one. Maybe swap processed lunch for fruit and protein, or stretch for 5 minutes each morning. Ask for support. Whether it's your doctor, your spouse, or a friend, you don't have to do this alone. Here are some simple ideas to consider. Drink more water. Even mild dehydration affects cognition. Get morning sun. Boosts mood and regulates sleep. Limit negative news. It raises cortisol and shortens your emotional fuse. Move daily. Even 10 minutes counts. You don't need to run a marathon. You just need to move like you care about your future. Visualize this. Picture yourself waking up. Not groaning, not reaching for pain meds first thing, but stretching with ease, stepping outside to a crisp morning breeze, walking to the mailbox with steady legs, and cooking breakfast with steady hands. It's not fantasy. It's within reach, and it begins with love for your own body. But even with a healthy body, there's one more thing that can paralyze a man's spirit. The fear of change, and unless you face it, it can quietly steal your final decades without ever making a sound. If you've made a healthy change in the last year, big or small, type "still fighting" in the comments. If you're just getting started, type "ready to change." You've got this, and we've got your back. Let go of the fear of change and step into the life. You still deserve change is the one thing we spend our whole lives resisting. And yet, it's also the one thing that keeps us alive. At 70, it's not just possible to change. It's essential. Dr. Thomas Reeve often tells his patients this. The older we get, the more we're told to stay still. But growth doesn't stop with age. It only stops when we stop saying yes to new things. With over 4 decades spent guiding men through transitions, from retirement to loss, to new love, to new meaning, Dr. Reeve knows, change doesn't take away who you are, it reveals who you're still becoming. Let's be honest, there's comfort in the familiar. The same chair, the same routine, the same TV channel, coffee cup, walk around the block, but sometimes familiarity becomes a cage. You stop trying new things because, what if you fail? What if you're too old? What if it's not worth it? The fear of change whispers, stay safe, stay still, you've had your time. But that voice is lying to you. Dr. Reeve has seen men in their 80s learn to play the piano. He's seen 76-year-olds fall in love for the first time since their spouse passed. He's seen grief turn into purpose, all because someone chose to say yes to something new. The secret to aging well, he says, is staying curious. Insight. Number 5. Change is the doorway to your final, most honest chapter. Take Leonard. Leonard retired at 72. 2 years in, he was bored, isolated, and convinced he was too old to matter. He didn't want to learn smartphones. He hated the idea of senior centers. He thought everything new was for the young. Until one day, his granddaughter asked him to join a virtual cooking class. Over Zoom. He resisted, but eventually, he gave in. 2 years later, Leonard now hosts a weekly online cooking hour for other widowers across the country. What started as a favor became purpose. He told Dr. Reeve, "Change didn't take my old life away. It gave me something to look forward to again." Studies from Harvard and the National Institute on Aging confirm new experiences create new neural connections. Even after age 70, learning new skills improves memory, focus, and emotional resilience. Embracing change reduces the risk of depression and cognitive decline. In other words, your brain is wired to grow, as long as you keep giving it something to reach for. You are not finished. Your story is not done. The most honest, most liberated, most peaceful version of yourself might be waiting on the other side of change, but you'll never know unless you open the door. How to begin? Rewriting your ending. Here's what Dr. Reeve recommends. Try something small, a new walking path, a different breakfast, a local group or class. Challenge one old belief, like, "I'm too old for technology," or "It's too late to make friends." Say yes more often, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. And when the fear comes, because it will come, whisper back, "I've faced worse. I've made it this far. I can walk through this too," because courage doesn't disappear with age. Sometimes it just gets quieter. Visualize this. You're standing at the edge of a trail you've never walked. Behind you is everything familiar. Ahead, something uncertain, but full of color, light, and possibility. You take one step, then another. The wind is gentle. The path opens. You smile, because you finally let go of fear and began again. Poetic close. The heart of the message: you've carried much. You've loved deeply. You've lost more than most will ever know. But here you are, still breathing, still worthy, still capable of joy. This isn't the end of your story. It's a new beginning, written not in urgency, but in wisdom. Let go of the things that no longer serve you. The clutter, the toxic ties, the guilt, the unhealthy habits, the fear of change, and in their place, let in peace, purpose, and presence. You've earned this life. Now, live it fully. If this journey meant something to you, don't walk it alone. Subscribe to The Beauty of Wise Years and be part of a brotherhood where older men grow together, speak the truth, and age with clarity, strength, and peace. We're building something rare here, and you're already part of it. Leave a comment below. I'm letting go, and I'm ready for what's next. We read every word, and we walk this path with you.